G'day hobbyist, Anthony from AOS Coach here, and this will be a series of videos where I'll be looking into tournaments and helping you make the most of your next tournament entry. In early 2017, I registered for my very first Warhammer tournament. I'd never been to a tournament until this particular event. I'd always played casually with my friends and, at my local games workshop and my local clubs. And when I registered for CanCon, I didn't know what to expect other than there was going to be lots of players, lots of different armies, and there was going to be hundreds of people at this conference. And while I would go on to finish in the middle of the pack, I had such a great experience. I had so much fun. I met so many new players. I'd seen a great level of hobby that I actually got a little bit hooked on the competitive scene, and since that one CanCon event, I'd gone on to play a number of tournaments, over 12 tournaments in the calendar year, both domestically as well as internationally, as well as being invited to the Australian Age of Sigmar Masters. So I've had my fair share of tournaments. So over the series of these videos, I really want to share with you what I've learned over my time at attending these events. No two event is the same. As well as I want to share with you some of the mistakes that I've made, or at least help you avoid some of the mistakes that I've made to kind of, make the most of your entry and have as much fun as I've always had. So attending events, the way I see a tournament really is no different to a project plan. And, a project plan, a good project plan anyway, has a number of key milestones so that, by the deliverable date, everything is ready to go. And I guess in the Warhammer world, we're not going to be painting our armies and trying to work out what the scenarios are, the day before the event. So over these videos, we're going to start unpacking these milestones, and I'll share a bit of detail along the way, for each of these kind of milestones. And as you can see on your screen, the milestones really are first signing up. And I want to pause on sign up for a second because people sign up to tournaments for a wide range of reasons. I initially signed up to a tournament because my friends wanted to go and I thought it'd be a great experience. Some people are registering because they always go to tournaments. Other people sign up because, well, this is a great opportunity for you to set yourself a goal, get yourself a new army, paint 2,000 points, and, go out there and have fun with it. Once you've signed up for your event and you've paid for your ticket, it's now about getting ready. It's about using the time that you have available to you so that you have everything ready to go when it comes to being at the tournament. Prior to attending the tournament, though, you will have to submit your list in advance, and each tournament is different on when you have to submit your list, but I'll share a few things around submitting a list. There is then your physical attendance on the day, and there's going to be some things that I'll share with you around what you should expect on the day as well. How do you have how do you get the best outcome for that day, and finally then wrapping up the tournament. In this particular video, we're going to focus on the first two pieces, which is really around getting ready and then submitting your list. So let's talk about getting ready. Getting ready is simply lining up all of your ducks so that when the tournament date does come around, you're ready, you're well prepared, and you're going to have a great time. Unlike the pickup games that you might have at your local games workshop or at a games club, the tournament organizer is going to set some rules and a guideline around how everyone is going to have the best experience and some of the expectations on the players at the event. The way that tournament organizers do this is they set out all the information in a document that is traditionally known as a player's pack. This is a player's pack that I'm going to dig a little bit deeper into. It's just an example of a player's pack. I'm going to be highlighting some of the commonalities between player's packs because no two document is the same. Often there's a twist or a bit of variety. So I'll break down the common themes in these videos. I'll add as much detail as I can, but also keep it as high level as possible so that this video can serve in any tournament you attend. So one of the first things you'll probably see is something like this. It'll be the event details. And essentially this is the critical information you need to know about the tournament. In this section, you're going to find, when lists need to be submitted to the tournament organizer, where is it being hosted, what type of tournament is it a match play, is it open war, like what type of tournament are you attending? It's also going to share with you, some of the other pieces of information around, what type of models are available to you, or what you can bring. It also allows you to understand what timelines you have. So, you can see here, this particular event is going to be middle of January. So I have between now and then to kind of get ready. Your schedule is your agenda for the day and should dictate any of the travel plans that you have. So for me going down to CanCon, there was a 2 to 3 hour drive back home. So, I should at least tell my wife, I'll be coming home, well into the night. I shouldn't be telling her and getting her expectations down. But for anyone who might have flights, some people who have, particular things they need to kind of navigate around, this really should be around how you should plan out your week or your weekend. And, you're going to see here when games start, when games finish, when are the breaks. You'll clearly see here how much time is allocated per game. So if you're not playing in that 2 to 2.5 hour space, this is a good opportunity for you to understand how long you have to deploy, as well as to play the game. And if you're playing more relaxed games, maybe it's a time for you to start preparing and trying to condensing down as quick as possible, so that you still get your full 5 rounds while not being rushed at the same time. One thing I do want to call out about the schedule, though, is you'll see that, game 1 and even game 4 starts at 9 o'clock. This doesn't mean to rock up at 8:55. You're going to have to unpack your army. People are going to want to talk to you. So, really do look at your schedule and make sure you've got plenty of time. Your army composition really acts as a framework on how your army is going to be built. What type of models are approved or banned at the event? Are Forge World models okay? Are Compendium models okay to play with? Does your army need to be on round bases, or bases don't matter? Do command traits, artifacts, and spells need to be listed on a document that you can't change throughout the tournament, or can you change them up depending on who you're faced against? How does a tournament organizer want your list submitted? Is it an email? Is it using War Scroll Builder? Just really getting a feel and the flavor of how the army is going to be shared. And something you're probably going to see throughout all documents is something called WYSIWYG. Or really, what you see is what you get. Now, a prime example here is if you want to play with Stormcast. If your Stormcast have 2 hammers, you're going to play them with 2 hammers. You're not going to play your Stormcast with 2 hammers as somebody with swords. Really, the model that you put down on the table is what you see, is what you get. And this is a really great opportunity for your opponent to understand what you're playing. The last thing you want is any confusion and anyone having a bad time. Conversions are a great way of expressing your creativity. However, you should speak to your tournament organizer to ensure that you get to play with your models. Now, there are 2 different types of conversions. One is a minor conversion, such as the example on your screen. This is the Free Guild General on Griffin, and it's fundamentally the same model that comes out of the box if you were to go out to Games Workshop today and go buy it. You'll see some slight modifications when it comes to the hero as well as the claw. However, this is the type of conversion that you probably don't need to speak to your TO about, because it's really what they see is what they get. Any opponent should expect this type of model. However, then you have some amazing bursts of creativity, and this example is by Jimbo. And if you love Jimbo's work, I'd highly recommend jumping on Twitter and following Jimbo and seeing some of his other great work. However, this is a major conversion, and you can see here, or you may not see here, that this is meant to be a Celestin Prime. It's a Sylvaneth Celestin Prime that doesn't traditionally look like the normal Celestin Prime. Significant changes have been made to the model, or it's been custom built. Now, I've seen models like this being pulled off tables because it hasn't been approved, whether it's not on the right base, whether it hasn't been spoken to the tournament organizer. So it's very important that you go on and speak to your TO. If you're looking to win or rank, within the top percentiles at a tournament, you're going to need to understand how the winner is going to be determined. And, in the second video, we're going to dig a little bit deeper into tournament scoring. However, there's going to be bonus points and, points that are going to be available to you before you even roll the dice. So, you want to start to get and understand, how the army needs to be submitted to your tournament organizer. There's going to be a painting structure, and we'll go to that in the next piece. But, really getting an understanding of, what points are available to you and how can you get yourself on a great start. And one great start is going to be really making sure that your army is well painted. And, nobody likes to play against graded models, especially at a tournament when you've probably spent so much time and effort and maybe even money to attend. And you'll probably find events will set something like a 3-color minimum. So, there's no point just spraying your Stormcast with, a bit of gold and, a bit of shade. You're going to have to pick out some detail and, put some color, as well as put some attention on the bases. So, make sure that you understand what is the minimum expectations set by your tournament organizer, and, do take their threat seriously. I have been at events, and I've actually played an opponent where half of his army was actually pulled off the table against me because they were unpainted, and the tournament organizer noticed it, and he was playing with a 1,000-point army against my 2,000 points. And I can tell you right now, we both didn't have a great experience. So, in this example, in this player's pack, the tournament organizer has set up the what's called the painting rubrics. They've really just kind of outlined how do you earn points when it comes to painting. You're going to see things like, painting technique, like shading and highlighting. Is there some freehand? Maybe you've done something on the banners. Have you done any minor conversions, some kit bashing? You pulled out the green stuff. Have you pulled out some attention on the bases? Maybe you've used one of the GW basing kits, or maybe you used some cork. Have you built a display stand? All of these activities are going to help you maximize your point scoring, and are going to help you, really get in a great position even before the game started, as well as having a great army. So you've spent all this time painting your force, you've built a list, you've practiced. You've then got to submit a list, and often it's something like anywhere from 2 weeks to a week before the event. And this is your commitment to the tournament and submitting the list that you're going to be playing over the event. Now, there could be a number of ways that the tournament organizer is going to ask you to submit an event, so submit a list. One will be something like on the left, which is going to be listing down everything in your army: command traits, hero abilities, spells, anything that's available to you, you must list it down. And you can see that, the traits and my generals equipped with the stately war banner. Is there a shield, no shield? This is the stuff you got to put down. On the right hand side, you'll see that I only had to submit something from War Scroll Builder. And you can see here that, I don't have those listed. So I had a bit more flexibility when it came down to submitting my list. Some tournaments don't even need you to submit a list, but either way, really do keep in mind what's expected. So that is, I guess, the timeline between, anywhere from signing up to the tournament well up to actually executing and kind of, submitting. So I'd love to hear from you. How do you prepare for the battle? How do you prepare for your tournament? How do you make the most of your tournament experience? And what are some of the things that you've done that maybe I haven't captured? So I'd love to take this opportunity to point you down below to the comment section. I'd love to hear from you around what you're doing today to make the most of your tournament. I'll see you on the next video.